Larry Ward is suing 21-year-old Sylvia Kidd for the return of money he paid for a Dodge Challenger.
Bird, would you please look up the book value of a 2013 Dodge Challenger?
It's in good condition.
It was a Savage title.
Give me the ranges.
8577 to 10,884.
Okay. Now, Mr. Ward, you purchased a car from the defendant.
Yes.
And what drew your attention to this car that Miss Kidd was advertising?
It was, almost...
Cheap.
Yes.
It was half of what its value was.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You gave her $4,700, tried to register the car. They said the car had a lien on it, and they wouldn't let you register the car, and then the car was repossessed because nobody was making payments on it.
Yes.
I don't know whether Miss Kidd told you that the car had a lien on it or not, but if a story is too good to be true, it's usually not true.
Well, Miss Kidd told me she paid the car off because she was getting her a new truck.
It doesn't matter. If the car is worth $9,500 and she's selling it to you for $4,700, if it sounds too good to be true, it's usually not true.
I thought, since it was a Savage title, I thought it was a good price.
Does anybody have the title?
I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. RMP Auto Sales is listed as the lien holder.
Yes.
Well, it's listed right here. Why didn't you call them?
I was really running short for time.
Well, that's not my problem.
I believe her word.
Well, that's your problem. It lists right here on the title that there's a lien holder.
But it's signed.
Who signed it?
It came in a mail, RPM.
No, look at me. This is the lien holder. And it's signed.
I was signing a title off.
No, it says release of first lien.
Yes.
Look at me. Who signed it?
I signed it to sign it off.
Of course you did.
Signing off the title.
No, you signed off release of lien. That's fraud.
I didn't.
That's
no,
fraud.
I signed off the title.
No,
so...
I said who signed off release of lien? And there's no question in my mind that he didn't part with $4,700 if there was a lien that's on the car and it didn't say release of lien and it was signed and dated. On what date did you purchase the car from her?
On the 14th.
Of what?
Of December.
Well, you were smart enough to sign it before. This says it was released by somebody with a squiggly handwriting on November 21st. If something is too good to be true, it's because it's not true. Do you understand?
I understand.
You know, but watch that show Fantasy Island?
Yes.
The plane is coming. That's fantasy world. We live in the real world. In the real world, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And if something looks too good to be true, it's because it's not true. And you're old enough to know that. The only thing is, she's really a criminal.
He knew it was a lien on it.
Because she
knew he had to continue the payments on the car. He knew that.
Well, then why would you, a month before, sign off on...
I was signing off the title to sell it. He knew he had to continue the payments on the car.
First of all, you can't tell me what he knew.
He did.
Prove it to me.
It says RPM Auto Sales on the car.
$4,700. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Sovereignty, a simple word deeply rooted in UK politics, was the central theme of the 2016 Brexit campaign. But what does sovereignty really mean for the UK post-Brexit? Has the nation reclaimed full control? Brexit was framed as the largest restoration of sovereignty in UK parliamentary history. Many Britons believed EU bureaucracy had eroded UK autonomy, sparking a movement to take back control. Key figures like Farage, Johnson, and Gove claimed that leaving the EU would restore control over laws, borders, and national identity. But did it? Leaving the EU meant the UK had to reintroduce borders, renegotiate trade deals, and take on new regulatory responsibilities. The loss of access to the EU single market, home to over 450 million consumers, brought delays, tariffs, and trade barriers. Industries like fishing, which had supported Brexit, were hit hard. Internally, Brexit exposed deep divisions. Scotland and Northern Ireland voted to remain, prompting renewed independence debates. Scotland pushed for another independence referendum, while Northern Ireland faced border tensions that threatened the Good Friday Agreement. Public sentiment has shifted. In 2023, thousands marched to rejoin the EU, and polls showed rising regret over Brexit. France and Germany proposed a new EU membership tier for the UK, and Prime Minister Keir Starmer called for a reset in UK-EU relations, though rejoining was ruled out. Before Brexit, UK trade with the EU was seamless. Post-Brexit, the 2020 Trade and Cooperation Agreement added customs checks and red tape, especially burdening small businesses and the service sector. The financial industry lost its passporting rights, leading to asset transfers to the EU. Though the UK signed trade deals with Japan, Australia, and New Zealand, their economic benefits fell far short of EU trade. The Australia deal, for example, may only boost UK GDP by 0.02% by 2035. The Northern Ireland Protocol, meant to avoid a hard border with Ireland, created a de facto border in the Irish Sea, upsetting unionists and adding economic strain. Politically, Brexit promised sovereignty from Brussels. Yet, devolved powers in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland complicate national governance. Internal calls for independence persist, raising questions about the UK's true political sovereignty. Brexit also changed UK immigration. The new points-based system prioritizes skills over nationality but caused labor shortages, particularly in agriculture and healthcare. EU student numbers declined, and asylum pressures increased due to global conflicts. Has Brexit enhanced the UK's global influence? Not entirely. While the UK can now strike its own deals, most have had minimal economic impact. Foreign policy influence has waned as the UK is no longer part of the EU bloc. Global standing in trade, climate talks, and security has become more uncertain. The Global Britain Initiative aimed to reassert UK leadership, but results remain mixed. Sovereignty has brought control, but also new challenges in trade, governance, and diplomacy. So, has the UK truly regained its place in the world, or simply traded one set of constraints for another? If you found this insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content.